When Disney wrestled Star Wars from the cold clutches of George Lucas for pretty much the bargain of the century, they understandably wanted to protect their newfound investment.
And they did that by announcing new movies to get everyone excited, before quietly declaring all of the existing Star Wars expanded universe non-canon. In the words of George Lucas,
"I crush you like a bug."
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
So a bunch of comics, video games and books got slapped with the label Star Wars Legends and quietly taken out behind the shed and while Disney worked on bringing us new stories.
Like Rogue One and the Han Solo movie. Sure, Han and the Death Star are iconic pieces of Lucas lore, but we think there are other tales in the Star Wars universe that are dying to be told. Here's 5 spin-offs we'd like to see.
There will be a substantial reward for the one who finds the Millennium Falcon. You are free to use any methods necessary, but I want them alive. No disintegrations.
As you wish.
Many people believe that the love for Boba Fett isn't really deserved, considering he isn't in the original trilogy for that long, and he doesn't do much more than look cool and get eaten. But in the expanded universe, more specifically the Bounty Hunter Wars trilogy of books, Boba's descent into the Sarlacc pit wasn't the end of the Mandalorian bounty hunter. He actually kills the beast and makes an escape, and although badly wounded, he isn't saved until bounty hunter Dengar finds him in the wreckage. Much of the story is set during Boba's flashbacks he has while he's healing, which means there would be tons to explore in a spin-off movie. Over the course of 3 books, he fights droid assassins, visits the Bounty Hunter Guild, and even tracks down the killer of Luke's aunt and uncle. For now, it's unsure whether or not he's alive or dead. On one hand, those books aren't canon anymore, but on the other, we do see him escape the Sarlacc pit in the Battlefront trailer. But one thing's for sure, Star Wars needs more Mandalorian badasses.
I spent that money.
Kanja Club wants their investment back too.
I never made a deal with Kanja Club.
Tell that to Kanja Club.
I absolutely loved The Force Awakens, but if there's one thing in there that really annoys me, it's how little the Kanji Club were featured in it, and that needs to change. In the movie, the most prominent among them were Ru Kin-Fi and Tasu Leech, who were played by Iko Uwais and Yan Yan Ruhian. You might know these two as the stars of The Raid Redemption and The Raid 2. These guys are basically martial arts gods. I mean, just pick any random moment from either of those 2 films and chances are it will be a jaw-dropping showcase of their abilities. Here, let's try it. Hit him. Hit him again! See what I mean? And in The Force Awakens, they just strike a cool pose for a few seconds and then are never seen again. If you ask me, that is just a criminal way to treat those 2 actors and a waste of some cool world-building opportunities. My solution? Anything. I'll take it. I just really want to see Star Wars lean into the kung fu side of the universe.
One of the biggest questions raised by The Force Awakens, other than who are Rey's parents, was just who are these stylish guys?
Those stylish chaps would be the Knights of Ren, a dark side organisation under the control of Supreme Leader Snoke. While they were on the side of the baddies, the Knights of Ren weren't part of the formal hierarchy of the First Order, but kind of had military freedom, which is why the members of the First Order tolerate Kylo Ren's bitch fits.
So how did this stylish group of Spectres get founded? Who are the men and maybe women behind the masks? In the immortal words of The Who, well, I don't know why you're looking at me, I don't have the answers, but I know who might. Force Awakens director J.J. Abrams.
When asked which story he'd like to see told in an anthology movie, Abrams revealed, "I guess the one thing I would say is that there's a Knights of Ren story that I think would be pretty cool to tell."
Well, don't hold out on us, J. Abrams. What does it mean? Do you already have a story in mind or not? How did the polar bear get on the island? I am not going through this again.
Knights of the Old Republic is still probably one of my favourite BioWare titles. Being able to create a Jedi in my own image, boy, that twist. So good. There's a lot of scope for a strong cast full of characters, each struggling with their own role in the universe, being pulled by both the light side and the dark side of the Force, all while maintaining a dark secret from the audience. The game's story would be great to see on the big screen, but it's the universe as a whole that I am most interested in. Knights of the Old Republic is set about 4,000 years before the rise of the Galactic Empire, which means you would get to see a galaxy much older than the one we explore in the movies. That means there are factions and planets and races that don't exist anywhere else in the Star Wars universe. And a movie going that far back in the timeline would have way more creative freedom than any movie surrounding the current movies would.
No, Mr. Stay. Mr. called Jar Binks. Mr. your humble servant.
The Star Wars prequel trilogy is a hot button topic. Some people love them, red letter media hates them, but if we can all agree on one thing, it's that it gave us the greatest character that universe has ever seen. Jar Binks. I mean, just look at how much Lucy loves him.
Lisa, I'm Jar Jar's biggest fan, Tammy.
Disgusting. Of course, I am kidding. He's awful, and I wished he would get force choked to death every second he was on the screen.
How rude.
But you know what? I'd still like to see him get his own spin-off movie under one strict condition. It's an adaptation of the amazing Jar Jar is a Sith Lord theory. If you're not familiar with the theory, allow me to give you the Cliff Notes version. Jar Jar exhibits some abilities that only a Sith would be capable of, including a twisting somersault in the air. Jar Jar is shown to be using maneuvers that are very similar to the drunken fist fighting style, which to the untrained eye looks like stumbling around and tripping over like a buffoon, but is actually a calculated and expertly executed series of movements that catch the enemy off guard. Next up, we have evidence that he's also capable of using Jedi mind tricks. In the scenes where it looks like he's haphazardly convincing people into giving him what he wants, he's actually using subtle hand movements. The best example of this is when he's speaking to the Galactic Senate and convinces everyone to give emergency powers to Palpatine.
Misa propose that the Senate give immediately emergency powers to the Supreme Chancellor.
If you go back and watch the prequel trilogy, you may notice that in the majority of Palpatine's scenes, Jar Jar is at his side, and this has led to the idea that Jar Jar may actually be the master and Palpatine is his apprentice. I'm sure you'll agree that this is a 100% watertight, infallible theory, and we all can't wait to see a movie based on the floppy-eared devil.
So there's 5 Star Wars spin-offs that we'd like to see. But what about you? Let us know in the comments box below. For more videos like this one, make sure to like and subscribe to GameSpot Universe, and we'll see you next time.